Hello, 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 and welcome to the Rumble and Roar podcast. I'm your host, Lanoria, and I have with me today Akira Rutherford.
Hello, how are you guys?
Yes. Guys, when I say this is the most thoughtful, loving, caring people that you could ever meet. One of the nicest the nicest you could ever meet. When I say anything that you need, anything that you want, she is there for you to support. She works with children, autistic children. And I talked to her and I asked her, I said, would you like to do a podcast on that? And she said, sure. She said it's something that's very dear to her heart. Not a surprise, guys. Because of her candidness, she's always honest, she's always lovable and giving and caring. The job that she does fits her very well. Let's just jump right in. It's autism. We are talking about autism. This is April, and this is Autism Month. I think it was the earlier part of April, but it is still April, so we're going to do this. There was a lot of stuff, Kira, that I went over. I researched stuff because I wanted to be able to talk about it. I do take a couple of classes with my daycare. I take some classes on autism, but I didn't go as deep as I did and looking at things as I did this time, because I knew I was going to be here with you, and I know you know because you are with the children firsthand, you know. But I tell you, I have gone through some things in my 28 years of daycare, and you know, autistic children. You have to have that patience.
Yes.
A lot of patience with them. Let me read what I have because I want to make sure I go over everything. Okay, the theme is awareness, acceptance, appreciation, moving from survival to thriving. This here is it's called infinity. The infinity sign. The infinity sign. At first, it was. I think last year it was the flag. I think it was the flag. I'm gonna find it, guys. I should have had my stuff together. But it was the flag last year, and they changed it to the infinity. And I'll tell you why later on in the podcast. And every year, want to raise awareness to focus on the theme decided by the UN. World Autism Day 2024 theme, and the color is blue, and it signifies understanding and acceptance. Guys, you know, before it used to be where it was called, I think, autistic, autistic awareness. Now it's called autistic acceptance. And I think it's that because a lot of people, they were aware of it, but they did not accept it.
Yes, like I do believe like it's a huge stigma behind autism, just in mental health in general. But a lot of people, when they find out that their children, you know, are diagnosed, then it's like, you know, a scary thing. But in all actuality, and this is just my opinion, that you know, it's nothing to be afraid of. It doesn't make them any less or.
But not only afraid of it. I think, Kira, because let's think about it ourselves. I think you and I, we both have children, and our children are fine. They don't show signs, or they don't have autism. But I've seen some through my daycare, and I know how hard it is. It's hard. And nobody wants. It's just like if your child was born with anything, you know, you just don't want that to be. And that's why I think, and we have to say I believe, because we don't know. We're not in people's head. But what we feel is, let me speak for myself. Boom, I'm covered. I would feel that, you know, people are, I don't know. I don't know if I'm saying it the right way. I'm trying to find the right words, guys, because this is very sensitive, because there are a lot of people, a lot of children that are autistic, you know? I think that I think that not only are they afraid, they just don't want their children to be that way. And then people are looking and judging without really knowing. And some people judge and not even, let me see. They judge only because they don't have the knowledge.
They don't know. Yes, and like if they, I can use myself as an example. Being in the field of like ABA and working firsthand with the kids. Beforehand, I didn't really know too much of autism, and when I first started my job, I was a little not, I wouldn't say afraid, but like I just wasn't aware, and I came in thinking, okay, I have to be fragile and all those things. But then as I grew and I learned, then that's when I was like starting to be more understanding and like, oh, okay, it's not like I became more patient and that.
Why were you afraid? Because of the way they act? Because I know some of them with loud noises, they get really hyper, and some of them, when they can't express themselves, they'll get kind of...
Yes, but it wasn't because of how they act. It was more so I just didn't know what they were thinking. Like I didn't know how to approach their wants and needs the way they need to be, because there was that communication barrier.
You know what's funny is they feel the same way.
Right.
They feel the same way in their lives. They feel like, I just want people to understand me, and it takes me a little longer to get whatever I need to get, but I'm looking at other people and they're just getting it, and that's why it's so frustrating and difficult, you know.
So I do feel like that's why it's really important to learn, you know, and take the time to get to know like autistic people, because once you know, then you know how to communicate,
right.
You know how to help them, you can accept them more, you know, it's not.
This is what makes it hard for them. Everybody is not going to go out and learn about autistic unless you have an autistic child, unless you in the field. So if you don't know, and if there is more that don't know than do. And that's why the kids, the grown-ups, they just feel a certain way because they don't have not much support, right?
Yeah.
Am I saying it the right way?
Right.
Okay.
Right. So like, the whole point of, this and autistic acceptance and spreading awareness is just, like they don't have that support. So the goal is for us to spread the word,
educate ourselves
as well as others, so that there can be more acceptance.
Yeah.
So it's like a full circle.
You know what? I feel that this should be something that's in the school system, guys. Now it should be put there for you to learn about it, so you can be able to treat a person with autism the right way. Because like I just said, you're not gonna just up and say, you know what, I just want to go and learn about autism. You're not. People just don't do that. They only do it, like we said, if you work in there or you have a child, then you need to know everything. You want to know everything, right?
Yeah.
So they need to put this in schools, and it'll make it easier for the autistic people. I got a couple of questions. Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay, I wrote these down. Okay, what types of skill do you do as a RBT?
RBT stands for a Registered Behavior Technician. What I do is I help autistic children learn how to communicate their wants and needs, and I teach them also adaptive skills, cleaning, toileting, things that may be hard for them to tolerate, that is necessary for them to cope with society as well. We also teach vocational skills, so we can go out in the community and help them learn how to order their food.
You know what? Sometimes I see them I see some of them at McDonald's or whatever, and they're in line. So that's what you do when you.
Yep. So like we are able to
So good.
go out with them. So there's different types of settings that we help autistic kids. So we can be in a clinical setting, or it's in home therapy, or in school, or if it's just out in the community.
Clinical. Y'all take them to the doctor's office and stuff?
So no,
I don't know, guys. I'm asking because I don't know.
I currently work in a clinical setting.
Okay.
So we actually have a clinic for that specific therapy, which is called ABA therapy, Applied Behavior Analysis. And so the clinic, we have an environment set up. So the particular clinic that I am at, we have like a shower. So like we can teach them showering. Of course, we do respect their dignity, so they'll have a bathing suit and things like that.
Yes.
But then we have a room set up where you have like a doctor's chair, as well as doctor's materials, and like a hairstylist chair. We have hair clippers. We don't actually cut their hair.
Now see, I know you guys didn't know about that because I didn't. Some of you do, but that is so good because once they do go to these places, they'll know, okay, this is comfortable. I can do this because I do this all the time when I'm at school, and I've learned how to sit here and know just what they're gonna do, right?
Yeah. So it's basically just helping them tolerate it because it's hard for them as is. It's very overly stimulating for them. It's not something usual for them because of their the sensory issues that they have. So we work on that to help them be able to do it out in society in the real world.
What age, Kira, do they start teaching them to do this at your job? Do they start like at 2? I know at 2.
So at 2 they can start because that is typically when they're diagnosed at 2. So
because I read that, that's why I asked.
Yep. So
but the stuff that you were saying, I'm so sorry to cut you off, girl. I gotta get mine in. The stuff that you were just telling me, I thought that it sounds like this kind of stuff would be for like teenagers, middle, like 9, 10, something like that. 2-year-olds, what do y'all teach the 2-year-olds? And I'm asking for myself.
So for 2-year-olds, they may learn like listening learner skills. So learning just how to follow instructions to match, and because those are like precursors pretty much. So we have where we call discrete trial teaching, where we sit at a table and maybe we get them to match a block to a block, or match identical pictures, non-identical pictures, and so we build off of that to where they're tacting instructions and visuals to where then they eventually learn how to communicate either verbally or non-verbally. So we call that manding, or requesting different items. So
manding?
Yep. So manding is just saying like, I want cookies or whatever they're motivated by. So it gradually builds up. Even maybe 3 or 4-year-olds, we teach. They may start them at off with toileting, things like that. Transitioning is a huge one, especially at a young age, because we have a lot of elopers. And so, we want to teach those safety skills. So
basics.
Yep.
With the younger ones.
Yep.
The basics.
Yep. So just for them to make sure they're
ready,
and acknowledging their environment, the people around them. So those are like the beginning stages. So.
Okay. What is the best experience working with autism children for you? What is the best?
I think my biggest thing is the relationships that you build with them. Because with ABA therapy, you are working one-to-one with the client. So I'm never with multiple kids at once. There's a huge...
Gosh, that must be great.
Because there is a huge misconception that ABA therapy is like a school. You have a teacher and you have a classroom, but it's not like that. It's more so like I'm working directly with the client. So I'm able to build, positive rapport and, relationships with the client as well as the families, because we do work with them as well. But then it's also the growth, because you are working one-on-one with them. You're teaching them these things and you can see them progress. There are a lot of ups and downs, but when they finally, get to that milestone and they achieve something, it's just
isn't that the best? Look, I'm about to burst over here, guys, ready for me to say, when I tell you, Kira, I have had some come through my daycare, and some of them have stayed 3 years, 2 years, 4 years, but when I tell you, you are so right. Now, I can't, I do still have the rest of my daycare kids. However, the one-on-one time that I spend, and you watch them and you help them learn something, and then you watch their face light up that they did learn it, and they can do it now, and they feel comfortable with it, because at first when they're trying to do it, they get frustrated because they can't do it. And then once you do it with them every day, and you sit down and you sit to their level and say, okay, we can do this, and once they finally got it, when they're doing it on their own, I'm sitting there, I'm happier than they are. I'm like, get it. Yes.
Yeah, it's been like a lot of happy tears. So like when I'm working and like I see this client who's nonverbal and not able to speak is actually speaking like full sentences. That's so awesome.
Yes. And then when look, I just asked what is the best experience. That was, and for mine, I'm a piggyback. Mine is just like hers. Just watching them flourish and learn and just go to another level. That is awesome. But my worst experience is when they leave. You say happy tears, girl.
Yes.
When mine leaves my daycare, I'm like, oh, you can't take this baby. This baby need to stay here with me for longer. But you're happy, but you're like, okay, oh my goodness.
Yep.
Happy for them to move on, but oh my goodness, you really do get
they're able to graduate. Like they're able to graduate therapy. We have like graduation ceremonies for them when they get older, and so it's just like, oh wow, like you're actually graduating.
And then give them something to say. If they could, if you taught them how to really be able to just speak and do stuff. Oh, I get it. Let me see, what else do I have? What is autistic disorder? What is the disorder? It's just
so just to go dive into autism and what it is, it's a disorder that makes it difficult for children to be social and to communicate. And it's broken down into 3 different severities. So level 1, 2, and 3.
I saw that. Okay.
Yep. And so level 1 would be less severe, and then 3 would be the most severe.
And since you said that, I'm gonna find what it was saying with level 1, 2, and 3. I hope I brought it. Look at me, you guys. I always should have it together, but this is pretty much, it's not live, but it's pretty much live. I just sit here and we just talk. It makes it easier and fun and better to do it like this for me. But okay, that's 3. I don't see level. There's level 2. Now where's level 1? Because I want to tell you exactly what each one stands for and what it means and what's what. But okay, so let's do level. I see level 2 and level 3. Where is level 1? Anyway, guys, okay, level 2, ASD level 2 is the mid-range, like you said. It's the second level. Individuals require substantial support and have problems that are more rapidly observed to others. You can see them more when it's the second stage. So see, I shouldn't jump like this because you need to know the first stage before you know the second. These issues may be troubling with verbal communication, having restricted interests. They just, standoffish with everybody. And repetitious behavior. They do that. Okay, so, and the third one, y'all gonna say, girl, get your life. The third one, this is the most severe one. ASD level 3 is characterized by severe challenges in social communication as well as extreme flexible behavior. When they say that, what they can't really do much with other children. Let's see, children with level 3 autism will be nonverbal and have the use of only a few words of intelligent speech. Okay. It's very limited, and as well as respond to others. That was the same as number 2. Okay, now we really got to find number 1. But anyway, number 1 is really pretty much you can notice, but it's not as bad as the 1 and 2, like you said. And I think that one is gone. I'll get to it. That one is gone. Okay, I have another one. Let's see. What are some symptoms you may see with individuals who have autism? No.
So you may see more tantruming because the communications are difficult for them. When they're not getting their wants and needs because it's hard for them to express. But then they also may do a lot of echolalia. So that's, the...
Echolalia, what's that?
It's like a repetition or scripting. So like if they have a favorite movie, they may script repetitively
something in it.
Yep. And they do hand flapping. They may walk on their tippy toes.
I read that. And I remember my mom, when my mother was working with me years ago before she passed in the daycare, and there were a couple of kids that would walk on their tiptoes, and my mom said, tell their parents to watch that. And I was like, no, Mom, I'm not going to say nothing to their mothers about on their tiptoes, because some mothers you just don't keep coming at them with stuff. They don't want to hear that, but certain things do mean stuff. My mother was way old school, and she knew, and she was like, he walked on his tiptoes every day, and there is something to that. And I was like, okay, Mom, I'll let them know, but I never did say too much. Every now and again, when I knew that parent is somebody that wasn't difficult, I would say, hey, do you notice that he walked on his tiptoes? I'll say something like that. But then if it's a parent that I would tell them what's going on with their child, I'll say it in a nice way, but I won't try to keep them or try to make them go do something about it or hey, push it down their throats. Hey, do something. You can't do that. But that is so true. Walking on your tiptoes. I wonder why. Walking on your tiptoes is one of them.
Autistic kids or autistic individuals in general have they have sensory is something big for them. So
sensory?
So the way things feel, the environment, and it could be a lot of reasons too, but how the ground feels or just the feeling in their feet. So I do believe that it can be related to like their sensory issues. So yeah.
You know what I read? Okay, it says what can cause someone to have autism. I didn't know something could cause it. But it says having certain genetics, experiencing complications at birth, being born to an older parent. Now I remember because I had my children late. And they did, what is that daggone test? Y'all, my children are real way grown, so forgive me if I can't. I think it's osteotesis. I can't even pronounce it. But it's a test that they give you, that they will give you a shot in your stomach and take some of the fluid out and see if you, I don't know if it's for autistic or Down syndromes. It's something like that. It's something to that. That they, when you have your children older, because they were running a whole bunch of those tests on me because I was a person that had my children older. So it's just so many things. Can a person develop autism?
It's something that you have at birth.
Bam, you know it.
And I'm glad you're talking about this now too, because while I was in school, I did take a mental health class, and I've learned about autism and the research behind it. At one point a while ago, people were correlating vaccines to autism.
Wait a minute, girl, you know she know her stuff, guys, because that's what it says. It did say that, or medication.
And so it was a huge thing. People weren't getting their children vaccinated.
Yeah, and it's still, now it's worse now. I know a lot of people is like, no vaccinations.
But to be clear, research has proven that there is no correlation between the two. So, and so autism.
Oh, I'm glad she told me that. But look, my kids got their shots, but that was, I'm the old school parent, but the young school parents, they're like, no shots. And because of Corona have changed so much and people are so afraid of everything. But yeah, and it says, can a person develop autism? Autism spectrum disorder is a neural developmental disorder. It is thought to be a result of disruption in a normal growth of the brain and central nervous system early in development. And that's really what you were just saying. Everything you were just saying. This means that the condition is present at birth and cannot be developed later in life. See, these two kind of confused me, that it can't be developed later in life. Because it was something that I read where, nope, I'm getting it confused. I'm getting it confused with something else I read. You cannot get this. Like it just said, you have to get it from birth.
Okay. Because it's genetic. Genetics and is passed on through genetics at birth. So
okay. Okay, now see, a lot of these questions are so close together and they sound almost the same, but they are different. That's why I'm like, y'all bear with me because I'm really learning too. I'm just talking, y'all. Can autism be brought on? This is why I was saying, okay, some genetic mutation seems to be inherited while others occur spontaneously. Look, everybody that ever watched any of my videos know I'll chop a word up. I know the word, I just can't pronounce it, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. Environmental factors. Researchers are currently exploring whether factors such as what you said earlier, viral infections, medications, or complications during pregnancy, or, now this is a doozy. This one is a doozy. Air pollution play a role in triggering autism spectrum disorder. How in the world is air pollution, guys? Air pollution, Kira?
Yeah.
You believe that?
No, I think that because people may not be knowledgeable about, autism disorder, that, that's just, people automatically try to connect things and
because this, I read this and I got some of, my stuff off of Google. We always go to Google, but when I read that, I was like, I can really see the complications in pregnancies and viral infections. You said no, that's not, you found that not to be accurate, but that pollution in the air, it really took me. But it says, do autistic men smile? I was like, what? I gotta read this because the things that we read, you're like, why are they asking that question, or why is that even it says facial facial expressions, movements and gestures may not match what they are saying. For instance, people with autism might smile while saying something sad. Now that I've known to be true from the kids, because they would be, I know. And I'm like, oh my gosh, and it's just, and it's not, they're not purposely doing it, it's just the way that they do it, right?
Yeah. It's just that social, difficult, to the connection between, the society and social life that, a neurotypical person would see versus their world. It's hard to connect those emotions.
Their world. I gotta read this because I was like, this is really something. Okay, autistic effect 1 in 36 in the U.S. ASD in the U.S. has increased by 312% since 2000. Boys are diagnosed with autism 4.2 times more often than girls. Autism is most common among Asians and Pacific Islanders children. Okay, this is a billion-dollar question. Why has it gone up 312% since 2000? So that means in the last 4 years, we're in 2024, guys. It has that's a seriously big percentage. 312%. So what's going on with our children and our what's going on to make it go up like this? Do you know?
I don't know fact-wise.
Because I didn't see it and I was looking for it too.
I do believe that, the misconceptions may play a role with, vaccines and the beliefs of how it's diagnosed, or, the stigma behind it. People may notice symptoms, but didn't, may have been afraid to professionally diagnose. I think today, times have changed.
Okay.
More people are becoming more accepting and more aware and are.
That's
willing
why
to
they say
diagnose.
autism acceptance instead of awareness. Okay, there is something I see, but I'm not going to accept it, so it's not going to be, yeah.
And so, they may not go to the doctor and, hey, I noticed my child doing this, what's going on? Or, they, throw it over their shoulders and keep it going. But, because, and I'm not sure a reason why we may not, today's world, people are just, okay. I guess because of the awareness is being spread.
I think because there's so many people like that, they feel like, hey, it's not a...
Yep. And so now they're able to go to the doctor and, just get that diagnosis, and now we see it. So.
Okay, this is a really good one too, guys. I gotta know. Can you go your whole life being autistic and not know it?
I do believe, because
the person themselves probably won't know it,
right.
But other people around them, can they not know it? They can be in denial and act like it's not there, but the signs are always there.
I do believe, yeah, and I do know too that females are less likely to be diagnosed because they can mask. So it's all about masking those symptoms, and you may mask it and not know, that you are masking those symptoms to even think, hey, I may have autism, and let me go get, a diagnosis or get tested for it. So it can be a hard thing to diagnose, I do believe.
Well, to go your whole life and people are around you and they're trying to tell you, when you're in denial and you won't go get the help, you know what I mean? Or I'm not gonna even say help. You won't even go to the doctor because you really don't want them to tell you that, when you really know that that's what's going on. I know people like that. And clearly you can see something's going on, but instead they're like, no, ain't nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong. So what happens to that child when you won't? Well, I know for certain what happens to the child is they might do it in the daycare. This is a true story. In my daycare, I did not diagnose that child with anything. All I did was told the parent what I noticed. I noticed that the child was delayed in a lot of stuff. And I actually told, I was like, please, I noticed this. And the next time you go to their pediatrician, please just talk to them and let them know that your daycare provider said XYZ. She noticed XYZ. And she was like, no, ain't nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong. You need to just beat her butt. No, that's not what I need to do, because first of all, I'm a daycare provider. We don't do that. And secondly, no, she'll just do that trying to get your attention. Everything but acknowledge what was really going on. And I did it year after year after year, and it went to be, they were here for 4 years at my daycare. And after the 4th year, of course, they went to school. Sure enough, she came in and she said to me that, they at school they're going to test you on certain things when they see certain things, and they found out, it wasn't autism, it was ADHD. But tomato. If you had gone or just even listened to your provider, because I'm the last person, especially if I'm caring for your child, to tell you something that just pulling it out of my hat. I'm going to tell you because I see it and because I'm concerned and out of love. And when I tell you, it should be acted upon. And when it's not, you're just going to just go longer with them not getting the proper stuff that they need, right? Mm-hmm. And that's why I was wondering, can they go through their whole life being that way and not know it?
And
masking
to
it.
kind of piggyback off that, it is a little different from masking or not knowing, but like I've seen where kids at work, some family members may not even accept the diagnosis. So even after they know it's
now
family members not wanting to pick up their child from therapy because my child doesn't have autism, and I don't want to go over there, and it's sad.
You know what's really bad is people can be in serious denial. I was in denial, y'all. I was in denial because I did not want my son to wear glasses. Denial is real. Akira, I didn't want him to wear glasses because I just didn't. And my mother was like, he cannot see. I was like, yes, he can. And she said, no, my mom.
But the question, you also have to think, like, even though you fear, for your child, you also have to think, like, the benefits for
no matter
them.
what you want, you need to do the best thing for them. Yes. Look, my son and daughter wear glasses, and I did not want that. But my mom told me years ago when he was 2 that he wore them. And so I understand someone who doesn't want something and they'll stay in denial, but then you go to another level and be real dumb. Because I did take him to the doctor, and they did say he needed glasses, and I bought the glasses but wouldn't put them on him. Isn't that ignorant, y'all? Is that crazy? I know I'm not alone, and it doesn't matter. It's okay. We're all right today, though. We're all right today. I did say that I was going to say what this symbol. Remember, I was trying to remember what this symbol is. It says, why is an infinity symbol for autism? It represents something incapable of ending. I'm just going to on and on and on. And whoever came up with that.
But can we speak more on that too? Because
absolutely.
I think it's important to talk about that as far as, ableism. There is such thing as people being ableist towards people who are handicapped and who are neurodivergent. And so this sign, I've learned that it's more preferred than the puzzle piece. The puzzle piece, it makes it seem as if they're more complex, rather
Kira,
than
that's good.
So they would rather have that infinity sign because it is more accepting, and it's less ableist for them to use that rather than the puzzle piece. And a lot of people don't know. And there still are preferences among autistic people. They may prefer the puzzle piece over the infinity, but overall, it was...
it's so pretty.
Yeah.
I love that symbol. It's so pretty.
It's a huge misconception.
I think they have a necklace about this. They have an infinity necklace. That was okay. Well, I have this here. It says the puzzle piece was replaced with a rainbow colored infinity symbol. The infinity symbol represents the idea that autism is a vast and complex spectrum that includes individuals with a wide range of strange and challengings. Y'all, I need to know how to read first if I'm gonna do this. It acknowledged that there is no one-size-fit-all approach to understanding or supporting people with autism. Instead, it emphasizes the need for individuals and persons-centered approaches to support people with autism in their unique strength and challenges. Okay, that's exactly what you just said. Exactly. I should have just let you say it and not get all tongue-tied and try to read something that I can't pronounce. But it's so beautiful, guys. I love this. It's a very pretty color. We got it up behind us. But it's there are a lot of more things I want to ask because this is so serious, especially now that we know that it's what was the percentage? 300 and something. 300 and something. It went up since 2000. So people really need to try to get some knowledge on this. You could actually be married to a person who has autism and you not even know it if you don't know what you know. Because a lot of stuff, or you might be dating someone that have autism and you are angry with them because they're not doing certain things that is, this is just who they are, but you're thinking it's something that they're doing purposely or whatever. But when you have knowledge is definitely power. You might be able to get to know a brand new person and get to love that person in a way that you would not normally love them because your patience would not be there because you thinking that they're doing something to purposely irritate you. And I came to this, guys, when I started doing research on autism. I was like, ooh, there's some people close to me with this. I can't call no names, but I know a whole bunch of associates that I know that certain things that I look on here, I'm like, there might be something going on, but you can't. And another thing I read, some things are so close to it, you can't diagnose anyone. That's why you never try to diagnose. You let a doctor do that because they say something about they're introverts, they're standoffish, they don't like to strike up communication, not communication, they don't like to talk to people. That doesn't mean that you have autism. That means you just might be a quiet person, you know, and that you just don't want to do all of those things. So you got to really know, like I said, you got to really know the difference. You got to just get knowledge, guys. It was another thing I wanted to ask you. I bet you say, I am not in school. I just want to know because I know she knows. You did tell us about ABA therapy,
A
or
little
no?
bit, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, what we do.
Yeah, because you were saying the textures and what they do. Okay, describe your job and how does it allow you to support the autistic children?
So with me working one-on-one with kids, I'm able to work alongside what we call behavior board certified behavior analysts, and they create the plan for the kids, and I'm able to implement those plans. So as a RBT, I teach those skills that we spoke about, making sure that they are progressing, to make sure I report to the parents so they'll know what we've done and they can try to implement those techniques at home to just help their child progress overall. So.
And I think she actually did tell us something like that. You did say that. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm asking the same questions. Let's see. What advice would you give someone who isn't familiar with autistic disorders?
I would say the main thing is to be patient and don't automatically judge. If you see someone who may be tantruming, or if you see a parent in the store and their child is tantruming on the floor and they're just standing there, don't judge that parent, don't judge the kid, because you may not know they may be autistic and they may be having a moment and that's their only way to cope at the time. So
and that's where it comes into the 1, 2, and 3 level, because the first level you probably now a person that's on a 3rd level, this is just, I'm thinking, guys, you would probably know from their appearance, because some I'm gonna find that to where it says something about the appearance as well. You could see, and when they're throwing a temper tantrum or whatever in the grocery store, you're probably like, okay, well, you can clearly see that, things are, that they're autistic. You just going about your business. But if they just seem and look like a normal child that should not be doing that, you're getting discouraged, because it's like, what in the world is going on? And it's still because you don't know. It could be a level 1 autistic, and you thinking that that's a normal, well, I don't even want to say normal, because autistic children are normal. Please forgive me, guys. You might think that, hey, they're not autistic when they are, and they are just going through what they go through to try to understand. It could be something going on around them, and you're over there, God darn, shut that baby up. I did not come to the grocery store to hear all of this when you don't know. But once you educate yourself and you see something like that going on, you actually, I'm going to just say, I actually just go up to them, and if I have my phone, I pull up my cartoons. I'll pull up my music that I do for children, and I will just, look at this. Hey, how are you? And it calms them a little bit, especially, yeah. But then I'm not going to recommend that to everyone, because some of them, they're very standoffish, and you just can't, yeah.
So, if you can help,
Right,
help.
help.
If not, just keep going, with your business, but just try not to judge,
Right.
because it's just important to understand that
Not
it can be
to.
challenging for the autistic person as well as the family member, and they're already aware that they're having a hard moment. So,
but honestly, you said it can't be. It is challenging to a parent with an autistic child, because of, if they are not autistic themselves, they're learning as well.
Yes.
And the things that they're doing, and especially if they got 2 kids, one that's autistic and one that's not. And the one that's not, doing everything that, that you don't have to really put a lot of attention to. But the one that's not, you're like, oh my gosh, and it might frustrate you a little bit, or just, you're like, why am I, it's hard, period. Like you said, it's just hard, and it is. It is hard. I cannot leave this podcast without finding that first thing. We might have to pull it up on our phone, because I did 2 and 3, and it's not good. 2 and 3, and it's not good to say what 1 was. But I think I have, what type of skills do they teach at RBT? I think you went over that.
Yeah, so like the stimming, echolalia.
Okay.
Or no, I'm sorry, the type of skills. Toilet training. That's what we went
Yeah,
over.
because
So,
I
like,
remember
toilet
you.
training and tolerating doctor visits and stuff like that.
So, what is your best experience at with working with autistic children?
And I think we spoke a little bit too about the relationships you build, the progress that they make, and just being able to learn from them as well. I think it's just I've grown and learned a lot since working with them. And
You've grown a lot.
Yes.
And I bet you probably the patience.
Yes.
Now you have more patience even with people that are not autistic. You're like, okay.
More understanding for just people in general. So, yeah.
Wow, that is good. Okay, I'm gonna read. It says common symptoms in adults include difficulty interpretation. Interpreting what others are thinking or feeling. I know I've seen some adults like that. And when it's just one of these things or a couple of these things, it doesn't make somebody autistic, does it?
No. I have learned working with autistic kids that a lot of times, because we do have trainings as well, but we've been taught to learn that even if someone is having a similar, like, it doesn't make you autistic as well. We share the same, I guess, behaviors in a sense. So, for example, I may be happy and I may flap my hands, but I think there is, and I can't say that because I'm unable to diagnose and know in detail, what's that fine line. But if I do that while I'm happy, an autistic individual may hand flap not because they're happy, but because
they just feel like it.
Yeah.
At the moment, I just feel like clapping my hands.
Yeah.
So that's not something that would be done with. You would do it because you're happy. I just made a joke, or I'm so happy you did good.
Yeah.
Something like okay. Let's see. Which one was I on? Oh, common symptoms of autism. Okay. Trouble interpreting face expression, body languages, or social cues. The cues of being so. I know people like this as well. Their face expressions, they not theirs, but like if I'm sitting there trying to show them I'm excited or I'm doing whatever, they have a plain look.
Yeah.
Yeah, like. And I'm thinking that maybe they're just trying to process or think about what I am doing, and it's
Yeah.
Okay.
And just also, if, for example, I'm not wanting to be bothered by someone, or how we may be having a bad day, and so we're just like, whatever, we may do this. They may not understand, like, no, I want to be, like, they won't understand that social cue.
Gotcha.
Like, hey, let me not mess with her right now. So
difficult relating to emotions, trouble keeping up with conversations, inflections to does not reflect to feelings. You were just talking about that. How can you tell someone is slightly autistic? Main signs: finding it hard to understand what others are thinking or feeling, getting very anxious about social situations. Shoot, those are, I keep saying normal. Forgive me, guys. That's, to me, normal sometimes, Getting very anxious about social situations, finding it hard to make friends, or preferring to be on their own. That's just somebody that's an introvert that don't want to be bothered. To me, you can't say that this, well, I guess they can. Let me read the other last two and then we're going to elaborate. Seeming blunt, rude, or not interested in others without meaning to. Finding it hard to say how you feel. You see a lot of them doing that?
Yes. And yeah, I laugh because like I do have I know one client we have who always states facts. So they go home, they learn different things, and then they come to the clinic or go elsewhere, maybe in their environment, and they state different facts. But some of those statements aren't necessarily appropriate to say in public, but or another situation would be where I've seen clients say things to like therapists that we would say like, oh, that's very mean, but they don't mean any harm because they don't know,
right?
Like they're being very blunt about what they're saying, or they're not acknowledging like, hey, that's not nice to say. But it's not that they're not acknowledging it, it's just they don't know that that's not something that you would usually say to someone. So yes, I've seen a lot of that.
A lot of that. You know what? Actually, that's like childlike, and that's how we're really supposed to be. But if we were, this would be people would not like that. Other characteristics. Let's see. Delayed language skills, delayed movement skills, delayed cognitive or learning skills, hyperactive impulse and interactive behavior. I can't pronounce this word, but listen, I'm gonna try. Y'all know I chop some word up. Epilepsy, pronounce it, epilepsy.
Yep, epilepsy.
Epilepsy, I still can't pronounce it, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. Or seizure disorders, unusual eating and sleeping habits, gastrologist, girl, I'm trying. Do you have the gastro issues? Now, you know it's bad to get on here and you can't pronounce a word and you sitting here trying to do a podcast and can't pronounce a word. Gastrologist, intestine problems. Usual mood or emotional reactions. Okay, so those are other signs. This next thing, guys, is... This one really touched my heart just reading it and even researching it. And it's, if you got a pulse and you got a autistic child, or you know an autistic person, or you have even knowledge about autistic people, this will, it should, but it'll make you think. You know, and it made me real soft and just, I was like, oh my goodness. It says, what is the life expectancy of a person with a level 3 autism? People in this category are typically nonverbal and have difficult understanding verbal and nonverbal communications and socializing, and have numerous repetitious behavior patterns. In some estimates, life expectancy for a level 3 autistic is as low as 35 to 40 years. Why is that? I do remember reading a while back, or going through a class where it said the reason why their life expectancy is a tad bit lower than other people is because it's hard. This world is hard for somebody autistic because they're trying to keep up in it. Where it's effortless for us, or it'll take us this amount of effort, it takes them a load of effort to do things. So to go through life and it's taking you a load of effort to just communicate with someone, that is hard. And to have that kind of load for 70, 80, 90 years, you know, that some people live, that's a long time to live like that. So that might be the reason. I don't know. I cannot say why. That was my opinion. But it's sad to know that, you know, their life expectancy is very short-lived. I say short-lived because 35 is a baby to me. When you get up into age, and I'm a seasoned woman, won't be telling my age, but when you get up into age, 35 is a baby. And 35 or even 40, So, yeah. Did you know that?
No, I actually did not.
Google it. Their life, and this is not the first time. This is not the first time. This is my first time reading this, but I remember in one of the classes or something I read and it said that's the reason why. Because it's a hard time trying to just live in this world that's not fit for them. If I'm not mistaken, those were the words that were said. Living in a world that was not made for them. It's just, and I still haven't. Please Google. Please, someone please Google the number 1 autistic, the level 1 autistic. I will not leave here without saying level 1 because we did level 2 and level 3. We need to know about level 1. So I just don't want to skip over something and you not even know what level 1 is. And for what reason, not one piece of my information here. I get my information from someone else. They brought it in to me and 1 is not in here. And it's okay. This kind of stuff happens. Anybody that does a podcast, know. And it's all good. We're still here. What does it, can you say what it says just a little bit and then I'll elaborate on it? What does it say? It's not coming. Pull it on your, let me see. Level 1. Level 1. Pull it up on mine. Let me see if it'll come up. Our Wi-Fi in here, guys. I'm so sorry. We're going to do this. Okay. Level 1. Huh? Okay. Okay, there. Oh, it'll show. Oh, come on. Come on. Okay, pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same. Level 1, the mildest of the highest form of autism, which include those the same thing. It's the same thing. You transitioning to a new topic. Okay, let's see. Might have difficulties understanding, responding, and little stuff. It's pretty much the same as the 2 and 3. However, number 1 is not as much. And you said that, but I just needed to read it to make sure. And I was sure because I know what you know. Oh, Akira, thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
Guys, I know I was pretty much reading a lot and all over the place, but the bottom line is, please, if you don't already know anything about autism, just go and research some in your time, because it's so important. And actually what you will learn, it will help you with a lot of things, people in general, but especially with someone who is who has an autistic child or an adult. You might be living with someone who have autism and don't know it, won't go get help, may be in denial, a lot of things. You won't know the signs unless you read them up for yourself. And it might surprise you. And then when you get the knowledge yourself, you might have a better relationship. And you might be a lot more patient with the person. And that's what we need. We need that in this world today. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I want to thank you again so much for being here, Kira. You got to come back and let's do a second part of this because it's so much more that I wanted to go over, but I didn't want you guys to think that y'all were in class or anything, but I was, because I really wanted to know this stuff, and she took the time out to come and just educate me on certain things that I need to know, especially with daycare. So I thank you. And like always, guys, feel the rumble and listen to the roar, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.